Hi everyone, this is just a short presentation on the options process for S2 into S3 for session 2021 into 2022. So this is for second year pupils who are about to choose their subjects as they move into third year. A really important time always for young people. I think particularly this year, given the fact that we've been in lockdown for so long, that we take great care and attention over this process to ensure that young people are making the best informed choices that they possibly can. And hopefully you'll find this presentation useful in some way. So, as you can see, in first and second year, 14 subjects are studied at Cumbernauld Academy, with English and Maths being 4 periods per week in both year groups, and then a variety of subjects ranging from 3 periods down to 1 period. Next session, in session 21-22, North Lanarkshire Council has decided that we will move from a 33 period week to a 32 period week. That won't make much difference in terms of the balance of the curriculum in first or second year. The interdisciplinary learning that was in place in both those year groups will now not take place, but the balance of the subjects across the curriculum will remain the same. As we move into third year, this is where young people get the chance to make a refinement to their curriculum, where they choose subjects to study more in depth. There are also some compulsory subjects, as you would expect in third year, like English and Maths, and French is also compulsory. From there, we'll look to ensure that there's a balanced curriculum for all young people, and that this is done by ensuring that they choose one subject from the sciences, the humanities, technologies and the expressive arts. And in so doing, they will ensure that future choices will be made from a range of curricular areas rather than something that's really too narrow. In addition to that, young people will also get the chance to choose 2 subjects completely freely. So for example, if you wished to do 3 sciences, that would be possible by taking one of the sciences, say for example chemistry and the science column, and then perhaps doing physics and biology from the 3 choice columns. The same could be true for languages, where it could be French, German and Spanish, or indeed in humanities, where you could choose geography, history and modern studies. Also business studies fits in there too. Similarly, in the expressive arts, where we have a number of young people who excel in things like music and drama, there will be the opportunity for them to do music, drama, PE, for example, all 3 of those subjects. Health and well-being will underpin the whole curriculum, and it's important to mention that PE, RE and Skills for Life will still form an integral part of the curriculum in S3. So, what is the timeline for the events that we need to undergo? Yesterday we had the Parents' Information Evening, and the week before that was the deadline for young people to enter the planning information on Microsoft Teams. Now that was the beginning of the process whereby young people with a free choice told us the things that they would like to do, particularly in the final 2 columns. And that then allowed the senior management team to design the form in such a way that it maximised the opportunities for young people to choose the subjects that they want to do on the option form. So that helped us to design the form. We didn't use the same form as last year or the year before. Every year we ask young people what it is they want to do, and then we try and design a form around that. Not everyone, of course, managed to complete a form, but those who did, that will have influenced in particular the final 2 forms. Last night, as I said, we had the Parents Information Evening virtually on Cisco WebEx, and again my apologies to those parents who didn't manage to get in because I was in the middle of the presentation, and hopefully this will make up for that. And we shared as much information as we possibly could around the process. From the 22nd of March, so from next Monday, the options interviews will take place virtually with the PT's pupil support. This year these interviews have gone really well. They're done over Microsoft Teams, which allows the parent, the young person and the PT pupil support all to be together at the point of choosing the subjects. So we'd encourage all parents to spend some time with your children in advance of the options interview with the PT pupil support, discussing what subjects they want to do within those particular curricular areas, and then beyond that, what subjects they would want to do in addition to those particular curricular areas in the final two columns. To think about potential career choices. I know that when I was 14 I had no idea about what I wanted to do. It's perfectly alright not to know what you want to do at that age. So if your child does have a clear idea about where their career path lies, then that will help direct the interview. If your child doesn't, then the design of the form should help to ensure that certainly in third year they retain a balanced curriculum that will allow for a variety of career choices moving forward, and perhaps some more information slightly later on about this. As I said, the form for S2 into S3 was the best form, in inverted commas, that we could make. It may not suit every single child absolutely perfectly. No form does. I've been doing this for 20 years and we always get there. Regardless of the form, I've yet to come across a situation where a particular career path for a young person has been denied. I'm certainly not planning that this will be the first year where that's the case. If there is a real problem with the form, we'll discuss that with you and we'll absolutely find a solution to that. So all pupils were invited to complete the form, as I said, with ideal choices, and that information was used to build the best form for the demand of subjects in the school. 119 of 190 students did return the best form to the school, and their desires have definitely influenced the columns, certainly the final two columns. And so on to what you really want to see, which is the option form. It's available on the website, it's available on Microsoft Teams, and obviously it's available on this presentation too. So I'll just talk you briefly through the form. As you can see, the first three columns are English, Maths and French, all of which are compulsory, and those boxes are greyed out because there isn't a choice in there. It's just indicative of subjects that everyone will study. And then the next four columns indicate curricular areas which young people have to study from. So they need to choose either biology, chemistry or physics from the sciences column. You can see the social subjects column, history, geography and modern studies, also includes business management. So they must do one of those subjects. And then in the technologies column, you can see a whole variety of subjects in there that young people have to pick one from. And then finally, in the expressive arts column, you've got art, drama, music and PE. So beyond those columns, everyone still has to do their health and well-being in terms of skills for life, PE, and RE is obviously the law in Scotland. And that leaves us then with two columns at the end where young people can choose those additional subjects that I had mentioned earlier on. So a whole variety of opportunities for young people there to choose to focus maybe more on science, more on expressive arts, maybe more on technologies or social subjects, or a mixture of all of those things. And I'm very confident that young people will be able to choose a very interesting, varied but balanced curriculum for their third year. So let's think then beyond third year. What happens in fourth, fifth and sixth year? So in fourth year, we move from 9 subjects to 7 SQA subjects, as you can see, 4 periods a week attached to each of those subjects, with English and Maths compulsory. The other subjects, options 1 to 5, will be chosen from the subjects that your children have already picked in third year. That will allow for 7 SQA qualifications by the end of fourth year. When we get to fifth year, we move from 7 subjects to 5, with English being compulsory and 4 other subjects. Those 4 subjects being subjects that have already been chosen in fourth year and indeed in third year. The time we get to sixth year, as you might think, oh well, that's a long time away. It's not. In fact, I've got a daughter going into sixth year next year, and it just seems like yesterday that we were doing our options from S2 into S3. There's a lot of opportunity then to either build on prior learning and move up a level to higher or advanced higher, for example, or indeed to choose new subjects, to get involved in consortium arrangements where subjects are studied here or at other schools, vocational qualifications that are available through the colleges. So lots of opportunities for enrichment, for development in subjects, and ultimately for taking up new subjects. The progression route's dead straightforward. National 3, 4, 5, those would be subjects, the levels that would be reached by the end of S4, and then you start to move into higher by the end of S5. You could also still be making progress at National 4 and National 5 in fifth year, and then the possibility of moving to advanced higher, taking new hires or new National 5 courses or vocational qualifications in sixth year. So that's now quite straightforward, I think. In terms of assessments, generally speaking, National 3 and 4 courses are assessed internally, National 5 from external exams. This year it is still an SQA award, but the assessment will be taking place in schools via teachers, and we'll need to wait and see what the future holds around assessment and the SQA. But as far as I'm aware at this stage, National 5s will return to external assessment. There are some subjects clearly that have practical work or folios attached to them, and that contributes to the overall grade as well. What I will undertake to do is to ensure that the calendars of assessment are published for parents and young people at the earliest possible date. And for this year, we're working on that, but these are obviously the emergency arrangements under COVID. Normally, you would see all of this published way in advance. In fact, at the start of the academic session between the school calendar and the SQA calendar that's published nationally. So, how might this work in practice for students? So let's look at the pupil A on the screen. In fourth year, obviously English and Maths compulsory, and this student is studying those subjects at National 5. In fact, National 5 is the level for this student across the board. And this student has been thinking about a career in science or engineering or medicine. They're not too sure, but they want to keep their options open. So they've got a range of N5 subjects there, and that's then refined from fourth year to fifth year, where they're doing 5 hires. And they would have to be successful in all of those hires in order to be considered for places in competitive courses at highly attractive universities. And in fact, for something like medicine, there would be an ask definitely for advanced higher chemistry and biology and probably something else. In this case, we've looked at the possibility of picking up physics as an additional hire in sixth year. So that pathway would work for that particular young person. Here's another pathway, again, where the student studying National 5 at fourth year, having considered, I think, initially that a career in engineering or medicine or something like that would be suitable for them. So they've got the sciences there, but they've also got a language, they've got modern studies, and they've got a design and manufacture balancing out their curriculum. By the time they get to fifth year, they've got English and maths and physics, still thinking about an engineering background, modern studies and Spanish making that up. When that young person starts to do their hires, they realise, really, engineering, physics, it's probably not for me. I'm thinking maybe I want to change my mind. Thankfully, they've still got modern studies, Spanish and English there. And if they're taken forward at advanced higher in sixth year, and possibly they then pick up drama around supporting their communication skills, then that leaves that young person in a very strong position to change their mind and apply for something like journalism, an arts-based course, or law. So that would be a reasonably good pathway for someone who thought about doing something but changed their mind and wanted to do something else halfway through. And then for pupil C, the achievement pathway would be for someone perhaps who wasn't going to manage National 5 across the board by the end of S4, that English was something clearly we all have to do, that maybe this young person struggled a bit with, but would hope to achieve a really good grade by the end of sixth year in English, where they would be able to take their maths on from National 4 and fourth year, perhaps not be able to manage the pure maths course at N5, but take on the applications of maths course at N5, and that would give them the qualification in maths that they might need for entry into a whole variety of careers. And in addition to that, we've got some arts courses and some vocational courses, perhaps construction or the beginning of a foundation apprenticeship, year one, that would be followed up in second year with the work experience associated with the foundation apprenticeship. So that would give that young person overall a nice blend of academic and vocational qualifications with which perhaps to move on to college, to training, or to be attractive to an employer, particularly around the vocational the foundation apprenticeship. So whistle stop tour, I know, but let's finish off again with the forum. I'm hoping that you will agree that the hard work that has been put into making this a balanced, a fair and an attractive forum is something that will help your son or daughter embark on the next stage of their education, where they're able to influence what they study by making specific choices. There's a lot of support here in the school, and I'm hoping that the interviews which you are now able to book will go as well as they have done for all the other year groups, and that you'll find that those interviews are satisfactory, and that as we come back to school on the 19th of April, your son or daughter will feel excited and enthused about what they'll be doing come August when they move into third year. Thanks very much for taking the time to listen. Any questions, in the first instance, please contact your child's pupil support teacher. Take care.